Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first day, Sunday of October 2021, right here in the state of Kuwait. This is KTV2 and 7 o'clock news. That means only one thing, that Miss Lulwa, she doesn't like to be called Her Majesty, has the headlines for the 7 o'clock news.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Pleasure.